Good evening and welcome to Think About It Using Common Sense. Uh, I was debating about whether or not to come on, even though I haven't been on in a while, but there's so much going on. And sometimes you feel like you're just talking and talking because you want to do something. If you've lived a life and learned some things in life, you just want to share what you have learned. And that's what I simply be trying to do. But today, I just cannot understand all the killings, mass killings, and killing children. And over the weekend, it's terrible. It is really, really terrible. And not to mention that every day, every night in the city, there's always uh, people getting killed unnecessarily, murder, and just gun violence, period, accidents, kids killing teachers and shooting themselves. And it's just too much. It's just too much happening. And we're all talking about, oh, we're tired of this. We didn't know this can happen or that can happen in this neighborhood. But it's happening, people. And it's a reality. And it's not getting any better. So apparently, what is being done and what has been done up until this point is not working. And apparently also what we are seeing is we are seeing the end results of what has not uh, been done that possibly could have changed the course of things happening today. It's like, for an example, if children was educated, more money was put into the educational system in a positive way. Uh, More of a focus being put on how children are taught in schools. Um, and we all know that education uh, is the key. The environment is the key. The neighborhoods should be cleaned up. Uh, Parents and need to have additional assistance or education and maintenance and how to take care of your neighborhoods and your properties. I mean, all these things that needs to be done should have been done. And we just can't keep throwing, we need money, but the money needs to be put uh, to use, to good use. And there's a lot of money being spent, and the money needs to go to where it needs to go to. This is America. There's no reason why, as a state or any state in this country, having problems with their drinking water. Doesn't make sense. We can allocate. Excuse me, my nose itch. We can allocate money for everything, but we have to see to it that the money that's being allocated to help the needy goes to the needy. That's also part of the problem. And when I see things and hear things about what's going on in government, I'm not here to beat up politicians. We can see, you see, tell a person by their works what they're doing. So not that somebody has to come in and sit there and constantly beat up on these politicians. We see what they're doing. But some things just cannot go unnoticed. This cannot go unnoticed. I mean, these politicians, they get paid a lot of money. They work for the people. And I mean, from what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, it's one of the best jobs in the world with the best benefits. You don't even have to have a college degree. Become a senator, become president of the United States, a congressman, a congresswoman. Now you can even tell lies. You can even tell lies. You can even be a con man, a flim flam man, and still get sworn in, still get support by other elected officials. And I mean, it's mind boggling. It's mind boggling. And this isn't something that I'm sitting here making up. People, this is real. And everything that's being done, it affects each and every one of us. And sometimes when I sit back and I think about the system, right? Uh, and you think about capitalism, you think how it works, you think how everything happened and what happened to bring us up to this point. It happened. It happened. It's the past. Nothing can undo what was done, but we can make it better from this point on because we as a people, we are losing. The world is losing. And there's no escape from it. I and when you look at the system, and I'm speaking of America because this is where I live and where Americans exist in. Uh, when you think about the system and how things are manufactured and how things are working to sustain the people that's living in this country, uh, and how the builders, things that they build, it's mind-boggling how all these things are done. And something else, sometimes when I look at these things that these machines, and have you ever noticed that everything that there's a need for, somebody has a machine to do? You ever notice that? There's a machine to do everything that needs to be done. That boggles my mind. And you look at some of these machines with all these wires and this, and I mean, they get it done. But at the same time, because of the uh, people that's in a hurry, rich, because of greed, because of uh, progress, you can call it. I mean, there's a lot of different names you can put to it. But at the end of the day, it's the people that it really affects. You look at these buildings now, the sky is the limit. They can put up a tower in a year and a half. Amazing. The bridges, amazing. Tunnels, amazing. And these machines, and they're putting people out of work. But at the same time, I realize you're creating jobs in other avenues. But those jobs in the other avenues are not uh, developing, creating jobs as fast as the ones that we're losing. I just heard the other day that A lot of these tech companies is laying off thousands and thousands of people. Uh, the fact that we have inflation of prices is increasing. Rich is making money, the business people are making money. But the thing of it is, if the people are not making the money, right? And if the food and the necessities are increasing in prices, so that means the money that you would normally have to spend, you're going to have to spend on your rent, your food, your heating bills, your gas, and things of this nature. So other things are going to go lacking. You see, so it's a trickle down effect, and this is the way things have become. But if people at the top would turn loose some of this money and let people live, because the money that they turn loose, the people are spending it, but the rich owns everything anyway, so it's going right back to them. It's almost as if uh, they want people to suffer. And people have got to learn to cut this mess out, man. You've got to, you just can't think that living is one big circus, you know. And it can be, doesn't have to be a circus, but it can be a blissful, peaceful, loving environment to live in. But you have to do your part. But I think what we are seeing now, especially with all the killings and all this stuff, it's just gotten to the point that uh, you have to. I think that's a kickback from not being educated properly, not teaching people how to use money and develop the neighborhoods and the value of money. Because people have gotten so busy just wanting to get money, you know. It seems as though all people are is just a path to the dollar by any means necessary. And this is what we're seeing. And we're going to see even more than this in the future, because these kids today, ones that's not educated, ones that doesn't pay a lot of attention to diets, how they, what they put into their bodies, what they put into their minds. All this stuff going to come to fruition years down the road. So this is going to be problems that we're going to have to deal with. And I think more effort should be put on in these schools on how these kids eat, as opposed to just trying to, you know, make a dollar. Give them this, give them that. They need to be taught things. They need to be taught in these schools. They need to be taught about the laws, penalties of laws, the value of laws. They need to be taught the correct history. They need to be taught about um, their capabilities. They need, excuse me, my nose itch. They need to be taught. You can't. I think some things that uh, when it comes to things like religion, I think that's up to the parents. I think parents should need to teach their children certain things, because every uh, religion that I can think of, they all teach. They teach God, a supreme being. If you don't believe in God, they still, even atheists don't teach just go out and kill. They teach love. They teach do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's just a basic principle of living. So even the basics is good. I don't even see any negativity in the basics, regardless of what religion you belong to. And I mean, a God, their God, if they teach love and being positive and helping people and being productive. I mean, what's wrong with that? If a person doesn't believe the way you believe, if you're not hurting anybody, you're not being destructive, and people respect you as a human being, respect you for what you are doing, what's the problem? What is the problem? And I see now with people and when it comes to racism, uh, I'm seeing and hearing more people are beginning to understand. I mean, all nationalities of people, they're beginning to understand. And and the thing of it is, I'm seeing that it was some terrible things done. Terrible, terrible things done to people of color. There was some terrible, terrible things done to so-called the Caucasian people by Caucasians. And all this stuff, this is what we are seeing. We're seeing the manifestation of that. But we today, we need to understand that. And we need to try and do everything we can, even more than we ever did before, to work through this. Because the only way we're going to get through this, we're going to have to get through this thing together. Get through it around the world. Everybody wants to live. That's all people want to do. Everybody just wants to live, love their family, and work. That's all. That's all. And people, and I think from what I'm seeing now, basically, they could care less. I could care personally, I could care less. The rich can have whatever they want to have, but just let people live so they can have the basics. A roof over your head and a toilet and some fresh drinking water should be a birthright of every human to live on this planet. Get whatever you want to get. And we need to respect this planet. We need to respect this planet. We need to respect ourselves. We need to respect one another. We do, because we have no one to blame for all this stuff that's going on in this world today that's being made manifest. We have no one to blame but ourselves. No one. That's all. And that means it's time for us to accept that. We got to do something to turn this mess around. But you can't go out here and have laws. You have laws that governs the people, which you need laws. You need man-made laws, and you need the laws of God, spiritual laws, universal laws. But you cannot, the leaders, you cannot be up here breaking these laws. And Santos is an example, and there's uh, probably thousands and thousands of examples. Preachers that out here that's talking the word of God, supposed to be representatives of God, breaking the laws. They're hypocrites. What's that do? Here I am believing in you, believing in what you're talking about. Then you pick up the front page of the newspaper, and here he is doing something totally against what he's been teaching me. What does that do to me? That destroys me. It breaks me down. And we have got to realize that you are representatives, so you're supposed to be what you say you are. So you're the cause. You telling me to live my life one way and based on you, and I'm looking at you and you living your life another way. And then you wonder why I'm messed up in the head. I'm messed up in the head because of you. We got to stop. We have got to start being grown adults. Being an adult means something. These kids, we got to learn. We have got to learn the value of money. And not only that, you got to learn the most important thing on this earth is you. Because without you, nothing matters. Nothing. You can have millions, billions, trillions of dollars. But if you don't have your health, it means nothing. Because there are some ailments that doctors can't even cure. With all the money, we need to think about these things because this is where we're heading. And you can't go back. This planet, you know, so saying so you can only go halfway in the woods, in the forest. Once you go past halfway, then you're going out. And as far as this planet is concerned, I mean, I'm not, I personally think, just based on what I've been hearing and common sense, we have gone to the point of no return on this planet. Um, you can't go back and fix it. I don't think. Maybe you can. And the only way it could be fixed, if every human being got together on the same day at the same time and start meditating, put some energy, some positive energy out here in this planet, we can start doing something. Maybe. So, it's just too much is being lost, you know, unnecessarily. Um, when it comes to religion, which it's people may disagree with me, but I think religion, put it to simplify it, is your belief is your way of life. That's why I'm saying you an example. So if you tell me, well, I'm 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 a Christian or I'm this denomination or that denomination, then I'm looking at you because you're a representative of that. You understand? And this is what's the problem today. There's no representatives. There's no representative. That's why I have a problem when people say there's a separation between church and state in politics. How can that be? How can that be? Because you are what you believe. That's when you go to politics. When you go in there, you vote. You say, "I believe in this. I believe in that." That is your religion. That's who you are. So how can you not? How can you separate yourself from that? So I have a problem with that. Using common sense. But I think that's part of the problem today too, because we have gotten so far away from common sense. But I do listen, and I see today that I'm hearing uh, more and more people talking about spirituality. You talk about metaphysics, um, and the things that they're talking about. it is. I mean, metaphysics is your relation between uh, God, mind, and body, spirituality. And you're talking about when the human body is understanding. It's understanding that uh, on the outside, on the outside, physically, a church is a house, it's a building. On the inside, metaphysically, your body is your church, spirituality. And that's where you get in touch with. That's where you get your energy, you get your power from inside. God is that God is that focal point that you believe where you get your power and your energy and your strength from within that temple, your body. That wooden church, that wooden church is a physical nucleus that people come together and where they're drawn together in physical love and togetherness and solve problems physically in this world. But that manifestation is that God that's within you. That's what's represented when they speak things in the Bible says clean first the inside of the cup that the outside will come clean thereof. So whatever you work on the inside, it manifests itself on the outside. Just like uh it's everything, everything is real. This is not a joke. This is not something to be taken lightly. And I think that's another thing. I think people have disconnect from themselves and have disconnect from reality. But they're finding now, and I hear it more and more every day, that people are realizing that it's on the inside. It's on the inside. You see, I have been studying, and I'm not a person to sit here and tell you something that uh, I read. And you based on your beliefs and how you live your life determine what's real and what isn't real to you. Because we all have that thing that's called uh, common sense. We all made of the same thing. You understand? We're all made of the same thing. We're different. Our appearance is different, and that's based on where we originated from. Nature. That's the difference. That's the difference. People are black, dark. They come from Africa. They come from where it's hot. They come from the sun. Black people give off something that's called black body radiation. We absorb the radiation from the sun. That's why the sun does not affect black people. It's all about nature. Nature gives us adapt adaptation, which enable us to live in the environment that we are in. It's all connected. We just have to get the understanding. It's all connected. The most valuable thing on the face of this earth is life. Life. That's why the five say food, shelter, water, air, uh, uh, house. I mean, you know, these are things that sustain life, that protects you. That's why it's so valuable. It's common sense. It's common sense, and you have to learn to take care of yourself because the way the human body and the cells in your body is composed. You're talking about the protons, the electrons, the what is it, neutrons. All these things, it's atoms, all these things is energy we are composed of. We have so much energy, and the capabilities that we have are unlimited. Unlimited. But it's if you don't know what you have, and if you don't know how to tap that energy, you don't have it. You have a high performance car parked out in front of your house, man, your door, and if you can have the key, you got the key, but if you don't know how to drive it, it's no good to you. You can only get minimum use out of it. And this is what we're doing with our bodies. We're only getting minimum use out of it. Do you understand? They said we used to have what's called pineal gland, and it was a spiritual, it was a spiritual gland in the brain, and out of the under the what can I say, under the process of use and not using it, you lose. You know, it's just like you have an arm in a cast. If you don't use that arm for a long time and your fingers is balled up, you take it out. You got to go to therapy to learn how to use that arm all over again. And so we had all this spiritual knowledge, but over time, generations, if you don't use it, you lose it. And this is what's happening. You focus on the outside and you forget about the inside. And everything, everything comes from the manifestation of a thought, ideas, thoughts. That's where they originate from. I often think sometimes I look at the internet, for an example, and I think about these things. It seems to me it's a copy of the nervous system within the human body. Where else can it come from? Everything, everything. I heard something. What was it? I heard something the other day. They was talking about opioids. Okay, and they was talking about even though some of the things they were talking about how the body releases its own opioids when it comes to pain. I didn't quite get the whole gist of it, but I did understand it, and it makes sense because everything, every mineral that's in the earth is within the human body. That's right. We're composed of it. So therefore, what we need to be doing is focusing on the human body, mind over matter. But we're not doing that. We haven't been doing that. And that's not something you just get all at once. Excuse me. Well, we can get it, but you have to start working on it. You know, I have been this year. This year I'll be 75. Thank God. And I feel great. Do I have anything wrong with me? Possibly. Uh, but what happens is your body has things in check. You understand? Your body has it. That's what your body is for. That's what pain is for, to let you know that something is wrong. So when you get that warning that something is wrong, now you start thinking, well, look, well, I wasn't feeling like this yesterday, but a few days ago I did this, this, and this out of the ordinary. So let me figure out what this could be. Let me think about this. Let me see if I can do this. And instead of, doctors are good, but I'm just saying that if my body has it in check. Yeah, I'm good to go. And then sometimes, see what happens, your body can have something in check, right? And then you go in and get a biopsy or something. And right away you go in there and take and cut that, boom. And next thing you know, everything will spread all over your body and you dead. It happens. But it's common sense. But I mean, we need doctors. I'm not saying, no, we need them. But that's how I've been living my life. You know? And I've had stuff. Oh man, I guess I've had stuff that's maybe so happened to some people. They probably, would have ran and laid on the front doorstep of a hospital. But I have faith. I believe. I believe in my body. I use my body. I use my mind. And so far, it has proved to be beneficial. So if it's been beneficial up until now, I'm not going to change now. You know. So only thing I'm trying to do now is just I just want to try and help people. Things that I have learned, I'm just trying to pass it on. I think that's what life is all about. That's called evolution. But for some reason, other people are just saying people are just so far gone that it gives me a headache. It really gives me a headache sometimes to see the things that's going on that people just accept and don't even pay attention to, and act like it's just nothing. Act like it doesn't affect them. But every human, every form of life on this planet is affected. We need to grow up. We need to grow up, people, because being old does not make you grown. It does not make you smart. It's like having money. Having money doesn't make you smart. Having money just makes you more of who you really are. And it can give you a lot of power. Understand? And I'm just blessed that I learned uh, at a uh, young age. My focus was on money. We need to live, but you don't. I didn't live for money because that a lot goes with that money. Everybody can't handle money. Some people are better off without it. There's a lot of people be alive today if they didn't have any money. If they weren't rich. Right. But uh I just have to talk about this thing, but I'm gonna stop talking about it because it's really giving me a headache. Um, and people are gonna have to just start doing something. They have to wake up, and it might be a point of no return. I don't know, but anyway, regardless, um, I just hope, pray things work out, and people start believing in a positive way. Um, I don't not here to tell you how to believe. I believe in God, yes. Uh, and I also say that I think everybody, whether they realize or not, everybody have to answer. We have to answer for what we do. We have to answer for how we think. Because to me, it wouldn't even be a real world. See, if you think humans, humans think they can just do whatever they want to do, and death was it. No, man. I think for somebody to think like that, you got a mental problem. That's my idea based on my experiences, you know, because this physical body is what has been developed for us to survive in this physical world. There's a spiritual world. And I think animals are an example of that undeveloped spiritual world. Animals are a manifestation uh, of a physical consciousness. Think about it. They have to come. Animals have to come from somewhere, right? So, anyway, thank you very much, people. Maybe next week sometime I'll be out, but hopefully this is 2023, and we have got to we got to do things better. And these politicians, I mean, we got to have some transparency. They got to stand for something. They took an oath to work for us, for the betterment of this country and for them and to serve the American people. Truth, justice, rules of laws. These things have to be put into place. And these politicians have to represent them. If they don't, they have to go, man. You ain't gonna work on no job nowhere else to do what they do and get away with it. You tell me who's gonna get a job, fill out an application for a job, and they got proof that you done lied, you done stole money, you done cheated, you done did everything, and then they gonna hire you and pay you $200,000 a year. We need to wake up. So anyway, on that note, have a good day, people. Good night, and